You're watching iSee109 with Larry Wiggs.
I think, you know, thoughts is powerful in all facets. Because even my career, even my life, you know, things end up turning out exactly how I visualized them. Not in this time frame I expected. You know what I'm saying? You always want shit to happen overnight. But, you know, I just had clear visions.
Microphone check, microphone check. Yeah, y'all. I do not care if nobody's gonna watch this video. I'm gonna make it anyway. I'm Larry Wiggs, and I'm recording for iSee109 podcast. No, this is iSee109. This is my YouTube channel. Merch is available on my site. This is a t-shirt I made right here. This is 109. You got that? All right, let me check the gate. Let me make sure the vision is on point. All right, so I'm gonna get right back to it, right? So I'm Larry Wiggs, and this is iSee109. Okay. Now, I was just listening to another podcast, and then that podcast led me to make some realizations, make some connections. So I'm connecting the dots, and I'm bringing those dots to you here and those lines. Okay, so here we go. 109, 109, right? That's the name of my my brand. I'll stop showing that to you because I need this microphone to pick up all the audio. All right. So where do we begin? Okay, I was at the high school recently, and I was looking at all the Hall of Famers, the people who graduated from the high school, and some of those people included members of this group, this Japanese group, Japanese band, right? And they The name of the band is Hiroshima, and Hiroshima made some really good music in the 80s, I believe. Maybe it was the 70s or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm just speaking extemporaneously, but stick with me, okay? So this group called Hiroshima, they attended Dorsey High School, all right? All right, full transparency, I work at Dorsey High School. So Hiroshima, right? I saw that name and I was like, hey, I know a little bit about the Japanese because Crenshaw, right? Crenshaw, the south central area, was occupied. It was inhabited. There were a lot of Japanese families who lived in that area before it was predominantly, black during the time that I was growing up there. The demographics have shifted. Today there's probably more Latinos than blacks, but that's beside the point, okay? The point is there was a time when there were more Japanese there, I guess, than many others. You know what? I'm gonna have to take get some B-roll down on Crenshaw and show you the some information about the Japanese presence in Crenshaw. All right, so here's a little fun story about Japan and about Crenshaw. So I'm from Los Angeles, right? This is my city right behind me. You can see that, right? Well, I traveled to Japan and I went to Goodies. Goodies is an R&B soul bar. Shout out to Nas. Nas made a song called Japanese Soul Bar that hit home for me because I know Goody and I've been to a number of Japanese soul bars in Japan, which is cool, right? But what I'm telling you about now is I'm telling you about the time that I met Goody. I walked into this bar, I sat down, I was gonna order a drink, and Goody was there, and he said, hi, welcome, and he asked me where I'm from, and I said, I'm from Los Angeles, California, you know, America. And Goody said to me, he said, do you know Crenshaw? One of the first questions he asked me, one of the first questions Goody asked me when I met him was, do you know Crenshaw? And I was like, do I? I was like, of course I know Crenshaw, man. Shoot, I grew up in LA, you know, Sundays on Crenshaw with the Lolos and all of that good stuff. You know what it is. Well, I know what it is. And apparently Goody had some idea of what it was like to be in Crenshaw, you know, because he, being a Japanese man, had spent time in a predominantly Japanese community, or what was a predominantly Japanese community at the time, right there in Crenshaw. Goody said that he had been to Pasadena as well. Pasadena's that way, or maybe it's like that way over there. Anywho, can you imagine? I was in Japan. I walk into a Japanese bar, and the first thing the Japanese guy asked me is, do you know Crenshaw? And I'm like, the world just got a lot smaller, right? Because I know it. I know Crenshaw because I'm from LA. But here was this Japanese man halfway around the globe who knew Crenshaw just like I did. So that was pretty cool. All right. So what did I tell you about? I told you about Hiroshima. That's a band, a Japanese music group right there. The students attended Dorsey High School, and Dorsey's not far from Crenshaw. It's still the Crenshaw district, right? So we have the Crenshaw district, we've got Dorsey High School, we've got Hiroshima, the group, and we've got Goody, a man in Japan whom I met, but he had lived in Los Angeles for some time. All right. Where am I going with this? All right. Key things to remember. Japan. And don't forget, 10-9. Don't forget, that's where you are. You know, Kobe let him know.
You're at 109 right now.
10-9, Japan. Now, I mentioned the name of the group is Hiroshima. Now, you should know Hiroshima. I mean, everybody should know Hiroshima and Nagasaki because those are the two cities that were bombed, you know, around around 1940s, maybe 1945, toward the end of the Second World War. All right. How do I tie all of this stuff together? Hiroshima is the name of the band from the high school where I work at right now. Japan, the Japanese worked. No. They didn't work. They lived in the Crenshaw area. Goody. When I met Goody, Goody asked me, the first question was, do you know Crenshaw? Okay. Here's what I want. Here's how to tie all of this stuff up. Hiroshima is one of the cities that was bombed, okay, by the atomic bomb, right? Now, the atomic bomb was created after a project. The atomic bomb was the result of a project. That project was called the Manhattan Project, okay? And the Manhattan Project. The movie Oppenheimer is about the Manhattan Project. I'm just mentioning, you know, a number of dots. I'm not really connecting them. At some point, maybe they'll connect. I don't know. Stick with me. Stick with me. All right. I guess I just have to wrap this up or just conclude. Tell you really what I want to tell you. Okay. And try to work it all together. Here's what I really want to tell you. 10-9. How does 10-9, the Manhattan Project, Hiroshima, the band, how does it all connect? All right, here's how. All right. The Manhattan Project that produced the atomic bomb that was dropped on the Japanese in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, well, that technology, the nuclear technology, the atomic technology, that was created in New Mexico in a city called Los Alamos. There were two cities because I'm trying to tell you, but I'm not trying to tell you at the same time. Man, I'm sorry. Okay. All of the scientists went to New Mexico to work on this Manhattan Project. All of the scientists, now it was a clandestine operation. That meant it was secretive. So nobody knew what they were up to, right? Now, all of the scientists went to this one location. It was a rendezvous point. It was a point of embarkation. They were going to start there. They were going to start the project there. All of the scientists went to this one location in New Mexico. They were greeted by a hostess, and her job was to orientate them, tell them what was going to happen, where they were going to live for the months that they were going to work on this project. Now, if you watch the movie Oppenheimer, you're not going to see any of this information. You have to do some research to learn about this. Now, all of the scientists who went to that first location, that rendezvous point, okay, then after they met there, they were sent off to another location you know what? I think it was like Santa Fe, New Mexico, and then it was Los Alamos. These were the two locations. But the first location is where they all went. And then they subsequently went off to these other locations, okay? All right, let's just be clear on that. Why am I making such a big deal about that? It's because that first location's address was 109 East Palace. So the Manhattan Project was, I mean, it was its own project. You know, they worked on the project and they did all that kind of stuff. But my point is that all of the scientists who were a part of that project went through this door, this threshold. They crossed this threshold at this address, 109 East Palace. How do I know that? Shout out to Stephen and Marcia. They were in New Mexico a year or so ago, and they took a picture of a door that conspicuously had the number 109 on it. I saw that and I said, hey, what's up with that door? Those are my numbers. And then that's when they told me, hey, this is a very important door. It had a great significance as it related to the Manhattan Project. All the scientists arrived at this address and went into this door. They waited before they were sent to the next step. It was all secretive, right? I said, wow, that's interesting, because not only does that have a connection to Japan, because the bombs that were created as a result of the Manhattan Project were dropped on 2 Japanese cities. Not only is that true, but I've also been to those 2 cities. I've also been to those 2 cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that was like, oh my gosh. Now I'll tell you what, when I went to those cities, I had no idea that there was a connection to these numbers. I had no idea that there was a connection, or that these numbers were so significant in the story of the Manhattan Project. I didn't know that at all, right? But I went to those cities because I knew the historic significance of those cities, right? So Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that's Japan for you. That's World War II. So I guess that's my story. That's what I wanted to tell you about. The connections between the number 109 and Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but also the connections with Los Angeles, the Japanese community, as well as Hiroshima, the musical group, who went to and probably graduated from the school where I work at right now. The world is a small place, y'all. It's a small world. It's a small world after all. I got the melody wrong, but those are the lyrics, right? Walt Disney, it's a small world. It's a small world. Something like that. I don't know. Did I talk about everything that I need to talk about? I hope so. This video is pretty long. All right, let's get some B-roll and then we'll... Hey, check out this beautiful view. You know, I do these videos extemporaneously. Extemporaneously. So, what happens is, if I don't plan out what I'm going to say, then I'm going to forget things to talk about. And I forgot one more thing that I wanted to say about Japan, Hiroshima, and 10-9. I completely forgot. So give me a moment, and I'm going to get it together right now, okay? So here we go. This is really what I want to talk to you about. This is really what I want to share with you. All right. Let me see. I'm going to Google. I'm doing a Google search right now. People are curious as they drive by. They want to know, what's he doing? I'm making a video for YouTube. Okay. Or maybe they're not even paying attention to me at all. That'd be cool. All right. I don't want to waste your time. And hopefully that you find this entertaining, but also enlightening. Like, why not? So check out the video. Like, share, subscribe. All that stuff. Yeah, these people are driving by. They're not concerned with me, which is good. All right. Let's get it, shall we? Oh, man. Here we go. Where's the... La-di-da-di-da. What is that? All right, folks. Where's the... I would like to show you my my screen, and I want you to I'm having difficulties because I should be able to do screen record, but I'm not able to do that. I'm wasting your time. Man. All right, well, screw it. Here's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to do a search for African Americans Manhattan Project. And we're going to go to Wikipedia. All right, this is what I really wanted to talk to you about. So I was listening to a podcast before I started filming this video, and during the podcast I learned about a black man who was a member of the Manhattan Project. That's what I like to talk about, Black history, on my channel. I'm going to read the excerpt from the Wikipedia page, right? Because there are some important things that I should definitely highlight here. First off, the fact that there were black men and women, scientists, professionals who were a part of the Manhattan Project, that part is really interesting, okay? But it says here, African American scientists and technicians on the Manhattan Project held a small number of positions among the several hundred scientists and technicians involved. Nonetheless, African American men and women made important contributions to the Manhattan Project during World War II. At the time, their work was shrouded in secrecy, intentionally compartmentalized and decontextualized so that almost no one knew the purpose or intended use of what they were doing. Clandestine. It was all secretive, right? As government documents have been declassified and historians have examined archives and collected oral histories, the work of people like physicists or physical chemist William Jacob Knox Jr., chemist Lloyd Quarterman, physicist Carolyn Parker, physicist and mass spectrometrist Robert Johnson Omohundro, and physicist and mathematician Jesse Ernest Wilkins Jr. is being recognized. They contributed to the theoretical understanding of nuclear physics, the extraction and processing of the fissionable uranium isotope, uranium-235, the use of polonium as an initiator, and the development of scientific instruments to detect radioactive materials and measure radiation. That's what they did. That's what these black people did. So they were a part of the project. This is the great state of California, and the great state of California's flag wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for the contribution of a few black men. There were 7 black men in a group of 39 men who were a part of the Bear Flag Revolt. We were there for that history. Now I'm talking about the Manhattan Project, and we were there and we were a part of that history. We were a small part, but integral, nevertheless. Now, check this out. It said the small number of African Americans employed as scientists and technicians is an indication of the structural discrimination that affected and continues to affect African Americans. Structural discrimination. So the way that, this is Wikipedia, by the way, the way that Wikipedia states it is structural discrimination. I mean, we know that as, or, you know, laymen call that just racism, right? But structural discrimination, that's really what it is. In the system, they're trying to keep us out, you know? So it is what it is. It's rough out there, out here. All right, where was I? The realities faced by African American scientists and technicians varied with location. No African Americans lived at Los Alamos, New Mexico, a primary site of the Manhattan Project, prior to 1947. At Southern research facilities like Clinton Engineer Works and Oak Ridge, Tennessee, segregation and discriminatory policies were strictly enforced. For example, white couples were allowed to live together, while black couples were not. Man, that's cold. That is conniving. That is ridiculous. Man, what is that? What is that all about? Conditions at the Hanford Engineer Works in Hanford, Washington were slightly better. Conditions improved at Columbia University in New York City and at the metallurgical laboratory at the University of Chicago in Chicago, Illinois. But African American scientists still face both structural barriers and overt incidents of racism. I think of George Washington Bush. Not George W. Bush, the president, but George W. Bush, the black man. He left from the South and went searching for a state, searching for a location where blacks were being treated well, treated better, because it was apparent. It was all about treatment. It was all about treatment, and it was all about being mistreated. It was all about mistreating the blacks for the whites. Terrible, terrible history. Over time, researchers have begun to examine the role of African Americans in the Manhattan Project, the ways in which technology and ethnic identity intersect, and the variety of ways in which African Americans viewed their involvement. That's what I'm doing. I'm researching and I'm examining the role of African Americans in the Manhattan Project, because I heard the podcast and the podcast said there were blacks who were involved in the Manhattan Project. When I heard Manhattan Project, I said, ding, I know about the Manhattan Project and the connection to 10-9. So I said, I'm going to make a video about 10-9, the Manhattan Project, and African Americans, in this case, African American scientists. So, and Japan, of course, Hiroshima. I've been to Hiroshima. I've been to Nagasaki, the two cities that were affected by the work of these blacks. But also, I mean, it wasn't just them, of course. It was a whole mess of people, right? So you learned something today with me, right? You learned that there were black men and women, scientists, who were a part of the Manhattan Project. You learned that the Manhattan Project had a connection to, right, the location where the Manhattan Project began was at 10-9 East Palace. I guess that's it. I think I covered everything that I want to cover, so we're good. We're good now. I made some connections. Maybe this is just a lot of random information. Maybe you're like, well, what's the conclusion? The conclusion is that when I think of 10-9, 109, I know that it has a connection to the Manhattan Project, and there are some things that I know about the Manhattan Project. Plus, there are other historic events that I know or that I can recall, because I can think of, or I can co-locate these events. I can make associations with those numbers, 10-9 or 109, because 10-9 is a mnemonic device. Helps me remember. So maybe you can create a mnemonic device that helps you remember some things too. For better or for worse. Whatever. Thanks for watching. iSee109. Peace and blessings.
October 9th.
Yes, sir.
That's where it starts.
You're at 109 right now.